here and welcome to BrittPositivePodcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe out there. To keep up with us here, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and you can listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and Anchor. Now, if you're listening to us on YouTube, then click that subscribe button and notification bell as well to get notified to see when we have posted. And if you are listening to this on Spotify, Apple, or Anchor, then you can click that follow button to join the Brit Positive Fam Bam and download this podcast so you can listen to it on the go. All the links are down below so you can join in spreading the positivity with us. Now for our Brit Positive quote of the day is, in the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take. There is something to think about, okay guys? Now, let's get into our conversation for today. On this podcast episode, you guys, we are going to talk about the pros and cons of the COVID vaccine. And I am happy to do this combo with the one and only awesome brother I have, Andre. Welcome, bro.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be back.
It is good to be back with you. We usually do our little top picks and other things like that, but this one I just figured we can have a good conversation about this whole COVID vaccine that's been going on since this year, actually. It's been talked about last year, but now it's actually becoming, like, it's real. It's here. It's for people to take, and there's a lot of people who are with it and a lot of people who may not be with it. So I just wanted us to have a conversation about it, the pros and cons, and at the end of the day, let's look for the good and bring the good to the people. Okay, so that is what we'll be discussing. So it's no surprise that it's like something new come into the world, and a lot of us is kind of like yes and no with it. So the division is right there. But I'm going to be like speaking for those who may not be for it and those who are with it. And you can let me know, of course, you seem like you're pro-vaccine. Are you pro-vaccine?
It's one of those, let's wait and see.
Okay, because let's start off with saying there are a few concerns for people that they have regarding getting the vaccine. And one of them would be that they felt this was rushed. You know, people just quickly gathered whatever they had to say, okay, we have a vaccine for you guys to take so that we can go back to a normal life. When really it's like, you know, usually these things take a long time to perfect. So the fact that they rushed it, yes, we know that COVID was really rapid and it was taking out a lot of people. But then it's like, at the same time, who says this vaccine's really any good? You know, I mean, we didn't even give it enough time or years to see what it can do. It's just more like we have to just trust the scientists who made it and see if it works. If it doesn't do, you know, what it does, then, you know, we'll find out then, really. But that's one of their concerns, is just how fast this was and the technology that was made to make them. A lot of people have that concern. Another one that I found interesting is that, you know, some people believe that this causes side effects. And the COVID vaccine, I mean, we've seen on the news like Johnson & Johnson and other ones that are out there that causes blood clots. And of course, we wouldn't have known that if we didn't actually, you know, some of the people didn't actually go out there and try it. And, you know, next thing you know, they realize they're getting all those side effects from it. So it is pretty scary in that you don't know how your body's going to react to it. Is it going to be something that makes you feel worse or better? So that's another reason why some people don't want to do it. You know, another reason as well is that it's, you know, with religion, certain religion beliefs, they don't believe they should. And I think sometimes it's even a cultural thing, because some cultures feel like they have their own antidote, so they don't need to take a vaccine, like, you know, whatever they can make in the kitchen. And some believe also like the way you eat, you exercise, they just think if you live a healthy life, you have a better chance beating it. They don't see the need to run and get a shot of whatever the scientists made. And another reason why some people don't go for it is because doctors didn't recommend it. Like, they don't actually tell their patients, like, hey, go get vaccinated. Like, they kind of say, hey, it's your choice. They might suggest, you know, you could get it, or if you don't want to, you don't have to. Like, they're not saying, yes, you need it or you will not survive another day. So that's another reason that some people have that's, you know, full of their concerns. And then, you know, those women who are pregnant or breastfeeding, that's another reason why they don't want to get it, which is completely understandable. You're looking out for your young. So there's all these different reasons that some people have. And last but not least, they don't trust the government. So that's another reason why some people are like, I don't trust the government. They're just trying to control us and tell us what to do or so on and so forth, which I won't say that the government is actually forcing people to get this, but it is putting them in a spot where it's like if they don't get it, they're not able to go out or like not even go out, because I don't think they're like that cruel about it, but they're just going to make it harder for those who aren't vaccinated to be able to do what other people are doing that are vaccinated. I feel that's something that they might put in place just to make people go and get it. So what are your thoughts? Are you for vaccine, or you think people should be skeptical?
Well, here's the thing. We didn't talk about this before we went on air.
Okay.
And listening to what Brittany's saying now, and I'm like, all right, I see where a lot of the points that Brittany is making. And this is basically what I would say. Mm-hmm. Like, points to take the vaccine. Number one, this vaccine has been out to the public. Because it's out to the public, the companies that made the vaccine would still be on the hook for anything. If they were going to rush a product out that was sketchy and people start to get dropped like flies because of that particular product, mm-hmm. then everyone will have their pitchforks against them. For the most part, the people that were having adverse effects to the vaccine are literally like a one in hundreds of thousands. Like Johnson & Johnson, it was a very, very small percentage of people that were getting sick mm-hmm. with the blood clots. Mm-hmm. And they immediately shut it down.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised that Johnson & Johnson dropped their medicine so quickly, even though the amount of people that were getting sick was just an infinitesimal amount. Mm-hmm. I know you don't want people to get sick, but what I'm saying is that if 100,000 people take a medicine and only 3 people get sick from it, and you're willing to shut that down and lose all of that potential profit just to make sure that people are safe, mm-hmm. I can trust the open market enough to say, yep, the vaccine is good. Mm-hmm. In terms of the vaccine, this is a point in favor of the vaccine. Mm-hmm. When it came to Operation Warp Speed, right? Because it was mainly the Americans that were pushing. Yeah, we're from Canada.
Yeah.
So it's mostly the Americans that were pushing their medical system to get the testing 100%. Mm-hmm. People were dying and people were getting sick, and a lot of people were afraid. Mm-hmm. When it comes to regular testings, to what I understand, just in general, there's a lot of red tape. It's not necessarily that you have a scientist in a lab constantly testing and checking. It's put on a shelf. They have to write a written report to go to Bob. It's more or less, the process is slowed down artificially to bureaucracy. So in this process for Operation Warp Speed, that's what I'm referring to directly, they just said, let's get something out, go. We're going to rush everything. It's like you ordered something on Amazon and you pay the extra money for it to be express shipping mm-hmm. instead of it being like, we'll get to it when we get to it. And a lot of the times when it comes to government bodies, the bureaucracy of certain things are slow things down unnecessarily. So everybody's saying we're going to concentrate on COVID and making sure that's done, and we're going to put our name. Mm-hmm. If the vaccines have adverse effects, you know how much millions and millions of dollars that's going to get paid out and you're going to get? Think about those commercials where I slip and fall and I'm going to sue the company for hundreds of dollars.
Right. So it has to be really good because it's billions of dollars that's going to be.
The companies themselves are at stake. Their names are on the line.
Stake for that.
And if you get sick and you can say, I got sick because of COVID, ooh, that's going to be a big payout.
You got sick because of COVID or the
vaccine? You get sick because of the vaccine. That's going to be a big payout.
No, but here's the thing too. Like, well, this is why there's people who are hesitant on getting it because of the rush. And I personally was one of those people who would say, what are we, lab rats? Like, they're just going to test it on us to see if it works or not. Like, that's a lot of the times when you look at it, anything that goes out there, in the amount of people who test it out, who buy the product or whatever, that's when you really see the results, whether it's good or not. And that's what I felt at the time, where I was like, I don't want to be a lab rat, and if it, I'm like a test subject for them to just say, okay, go get it, and when I get it, I'm not well. And that was one of my concerns in the beginning, like just feeling as if like they're just giving anything to anyone to shut us up and to kind of like, I know they show like the people in politics to getting their vaccine and stuff, but it feels too much of like, at the time, I would say, it felt like there was like a group of people, like this was all their plan and plotting. Like, there's those conspiracy
it comes
theories.
off like a conspiracy.
Yeah. And so you're kind of like, what is this? Is this legit? So, that can have a lot of people just being like, they just want to test subject, they're test subjects. And it's like a way to control us and tell us what to do. And I can understand where they're coming from, because it's like, who says we can trust these people? You know what I mean? Like, we don't know them. But also I do have a respect for those who went to school studying for years and looking at medicine and building, different theories or testing things over those years for something like this to happen, to have something in place in case. So I'm not discrediting them at all. I'm just showing there's the two sides of those who don't trust them and those who it's like, they don't know who these people are, how long they studied, how long did they really look into COVID. It's a lot of, back and forth.
And the thing is, though, this particular topic is relatively ongoing. We're not medical professionals in any way, shape, or form.
No, we're
not even.
So this is only a conversation. So in case you guys are out there listening, it's literally a conversation, something to think about. Because also one of my things in all of this COVID vaccine stuff is I had to do my research. I had to get to a place for me to actually be okay with it for myself. So me saying go get it, or me saying, think about it first, it's just my opinion, in that this is what I did. This is my journey in it. But this is something that if you guys are tuning in, listening, which is great, this is something to talk about and really get to know and get comfortable with, not something to be afraid of,
And the thing is, though, I think having open discussion and these things are always a good thing. Because me and Brittany aren't really on the same page, but not for the reasons that Brittany might think. I think that for the most part, the vaccines are safe. Not necessarily because, they're safe vaccines or anything like that, but more to do with certain things behind the scenes. Like, like I was saying, there's a lot of information going out. This is still very much an ongoing thing. But from what we understand is that the scientists were basically like doing, they were able to get the vaccine going because it was already kind of in the pipeline in terms of they were researching it already.
Exactly. So it was like not something where they had to start from scratch. It was like there was something that was already developed, but maybe they had to tweak it a bit more regarding the virus that was out there already. And
it wasn't supposed to, like the COVID virus, right? Wasn't necessarily supposed to get out. But up until recently, it was said that it was it came from an animal.
Yeah, that's the first thing I heard about it, was that it came from like a bat in China. And, that's when I was like, a bat? Who was trying to eat a bat?
No, the thing is, though, like, the COVID disease have existed for a very, very, very long time.
Now that I never knew.
Yeah. No, it's a thing. Like, if you eat certain animals, like a bat and stuff like that, you can get it. So
it's like apparently it was here, but it didn't have an outbreak until last year.
It's more like they were saying, though, that people were eating the bat, and that's how they got COVID, and it mutated to other people, right?
I mean, that's what I heard, but that was like the very beginning. And then we're hearing theories of it was conducted in a lab and things like that. So it's like, I still personally, as just a regular person out there, I still haven't gotten like the actual true answer of where COVID came from. And that in itself, I think a lot of people feel the government knows these things and they don't want to tell people because it's gonna make people.
No, Feige. One of the politicians guys almost admitted that. We didn't want. We told you this, but it was actually that. We just said this.
It's always gonna be something that's said from one person to another, and it's just mix information out there.
Exactly.
And it's so never, I just feel we're never going to get to the core of it. Like, I don't know how we are, because it's like broken telephone. One person say something originally, and then it just becomes a whole bunch of other stuff added to it because you got another person who wants to change the narrative.
Well, the fact that you're saying the narrative in and of itself, it's like, it's a story conducted for your own reasons. The only reason why we're talking about it is just like, should I go out and get the vaccine?
Right.
Should I not get the vaccine because I'm going to get sick? At the end of the day, you need to do what's best for you. And I think if you ask your doctor and you talk to them about any pre-existing conditions that you may or may not have, then you can make an informed decision on yourself. Like, my health is not the same as my sister's,
right,
and vice versa.
Right.
So I would feel more comfortable getting the vaccine over my sister because I'm not the healthiest guy around. I'm working on it.
You are. He is.
I'm working
he is.
on it.
And but you know, it's just being honest in that, you know, you're doing what's best for you and your body. What I have a question for you. What got you to decide on getting the vaccine? Because you're your own person, but what made you say, you know what, I'm gonna get it?
Oh, that's actually really simple. The main reason why I take the vaccine, if this is available and it's free.
Oh my God. Okay. For me, I would say what got me to do it was my mom. You know, I trust her, I trust my mom, and I believe she's such a smart, wise woman. And just seeing her, you know, look into it, I then decided, let me look into it. Let me read it up. Another reason why I was a bit hesitant is I don't like needles. I'm going to be frank with you guys. I just can't deal with needles. So even that being a thing, part of the whole getting the vaccine is getting a needle shot, basically. I was like, let me just wait. But at the end of the day, I actually, you know, I sucked it up. I said, all right, let me do it. And I looked at what kind of vaccine I want, because there's like 4 different ones.
That's why I'm saying that you really need to make a choice.
Yeah.
Like, because we're not medical professionals, we're not going to say like, oh, get this one.
No.
Don't get that one.
No.
Even if I wanted to, I don't think that's appropriate.
You make up your own. I feel the only way we can feel comfortable in that choice is making sure it's down to what you want at the end of the day. Because I think what people don't like is the pressure and feeling forced, because it's becoming a thing. Like now there's articles showing that like some universities are not taking, you know, having kids live on residence if they're not vaccinated. And it kind of puts that person in a bind, like, well, I want to go and study. I want to be able to live on, you know, campus as well, but I can't unless I'm vaccinated. And what if they personally don't want to take it? You know, it's kind of like they're not saying, hey, go get it. Like the government's not going to say that to your face, but it's like all these,
yet, anyways.
well, but it's literally, when you look at it, all of these things that are opening up again, even to be able to travel, you're going to have to get vaccinated to even travel.
Yeah.
You know,
might as well get it now while it's free.
Right. So it's just kind of like this thing where it's like, you know, it's a mandatory thing. It's not now being shouted to your face that it's mandatory, but low key it's mandatory.
Yeah.
Basically. And I feel it for those who are not comfortable with it yet, because like, you know, they personally they just don't want to. They want to give it time. What if they want to wait a year or two? Shouldn't they be able to have that at least? But at the same time, they might even be looked on differently. It's like the same thing with the whole anti-maskers versus masker people. Like they think, hey, you should wear your mask to kind of prevent the spread. But then they're saying, no, we don't need to wear a mask to prevent the spread. Like we've had flu and all this other stuff and never wear a mask before. Why now? It's just become this back and forth thing once again.
The issue is like it's become I'm team red, you're team blue.
Right.
And it should be we're all team health. But people just get too opinionated. Like I totally get where the anti-vaxxers are coming from, because they just don't want to be forced to take any vaccine, period. And I'm not 100% with this high school bully mentality of everyone's doing it, so I have to do it too. I don't agree. Like with the vaccine, you have a lot of people pressuring you that you have to do it. If you don't do it, you're gonna kill grandma and grandpa. And I'm like, look,
It could, but then the doctors are saying it can result to that. They're even saying that if there's not enough people who are actually taking their COVID vaccine, then it can lead to another outbreak.
Yeah, I'm skeptical of that. I don't buy that.
Right. And no, but that's what's been out there, said in some cases, that it can lead to another outbreak of COVID. So it's kind of like they're thinking, just take something to help you resist it. Now, I still have some questions regarding the vaccine. Like, what is it really helping you prevent? What we know for sure, it's helping you fight COVID if you're the person to catch it. So that's what we know for sure. You have a better chance of surviving it because you have all these antibodies like developing in you fighting against the virus itself. Fine.
If you're one of the people that feel like natural remedies will help, I'm not against that either. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes it can at least relieve the pain. I remember someone that we know of, mm-hmm. They got the COVID. Mm-hmm. It was the whole family, and we were quite concerned about them. Mm-hmm. And they were telling us their experience, and they're like, no medicine, no nothing to ease the pain. You're just left alone. There's nothing that you can do.
Well, that was something that really made me feel bad for anyone regarding getting COVID. It's not something you have any medicine to help you mm-hmm. at all. Like, you're taking whatever to help ease the discomfort, but it's not actually attacking the virus. You're literally hoping that your body can just fight it.
Right.
And your body had nothing at the time to help you fight it. Mm-hmm. Other than the old vaccines that we've taken from we were babies. But those vaccines never faced COVID, you know? Mm-hmm. It came with a whole nother thing. So this vaccine, just like the other ones we get as children, it's like, just see it as that, you know, the same ones they make for shingles and...
I was thinking hepatitis, because you have to get that like in grade 8, grade 9.
I don't even remember that one, yeah.
Junior high or senior...
I know. But it's around those times, like elementary school, they had like nurses come and give us shots and stuff. I was like, what is this? Like, what are we getting?
But, that's what I think of the COVID thing now. It's because it's new and different, but I look at it this. It's a hepatitis shot, and the government is giving you for free. If I wait too long, it might not be free. So let's take advantage of it and do it now.
Well, you know, one of the reasons they also mention when it comes to vaccines, they say like the viruses and bacteria that causes illness and death still exists.
Yeah.
And can be passed on to those who are not protected by vaccines.
Right.
So while many diseases are not common in, you know, the U.S. or global travel, it makes it easier for the disease to spread. So that's basically saying like it's not going to prevent the disease, but it's going to stop it from spreading.
If you take precautions like wash your hands whenever you touch an unclean or unsafe surface, be careful not to put your hands on your face or anything like that. Basic, like really prim and proper treatment, I think you will be significantly less likely of catching it. I am a strong believer that prevention is the best medicine, and I'm not looking...
So do things to prevent you from catching it.
Exactly.
But then people are feeling like that's not living. You know, that's basically being afraid or allowing COVID to kind of just keep you locked in, basically. But, you know, I'm not saying this towards you, but I'm just saying this is how some people may think. Like, well, that's not living. I don't want to stay in my house for hours just because there's a virus out there. I want to go outside for a walk and, like, touch and hold with people and hug them. Like, you know, I don't even want to wear a mask. I just want to live my life like it was in 2019, 2018, 2017.
Well, the main reason why you have people complaining that they don't need to wear a mask is because the mask doesn't protect you. One of the things with the mask, it doesn't protect you.
Others.
No, it protects. It prevents you from spreading.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily protect you from catching.
Exactly.
So if you know that you're not sick and you're not spreading, then you technically don't need the mask to prevent you from spreading. So the mindset of everyone wears a mask is literally everyone has COVID. That person over there has COVID. That person over there has COVID. I don't like the mindset. So don't think like everyone's the enemy, right? But at the same time, if you feel comfortable wearing a mask and it makes you feel protected, yeah, why not?
You know something though? Yeah, I wear my mask and I do feel like I'm trying to help in not spreading or have anything spread on me, even though I know it doesn't work for me where I'm protecting myself. It's more like me protecting others. But I like to know I'm trying. I like to know that I'm actually doing something to help with the situation instead of just like, well, we're all gonna die anyway. Like I'm not a kind of thinker like that. I'm like, you know what? I'm alive. I'm going to try to do what I can to survive and of course help people around you, because even if you're not living with people in your home or so, you're living on a planet with billions of people. Like look at it as like everyone on earth is like your roommate, and you got to just be respectful of one another. And in some areas, of course, I can't speak for everything, but
in this case though, I want to stress enough. Let's say you live in a household. You have seniors that are people that are within the age of 50, 60, 70. Mm-hmm. I think that it's an obligation within your household for you to exercise additional care. Mm-hmm. Let's say you're living on your own in your apartment and you go out every once in a while with your friends in your same age demo. Mm-hmm. Then you do what's best for you, but it would not hurt to get the vaccine mm-hmm. and to practice hygiene. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a difference between being forced by fear to do something mm-hmm. and being precautious out of rationality.
Okay. I hear you. Because it just leaves to a lot of people this thinking, like, they don't think the vaccine's going to do anything really as well to change the circumstances that we're all in. Because
isn't that a bit too pessimistic?
That's what some are thinking, though.
Seriously?
Yeah, it comes to a point where they don't even think it's really going to make a big difference. Is it getting rid of COVID? No. But I think why they are pushing a lot of people to get vaccine is it's giving people a chance to fight it. It's making it where it's like less death and more people to be able to tackle it like a flu and then get better. Because remember, there was a time where the flu used to kill people off.
No, the flu kills people still.
Yeah. Well, I'm lucky. I'm the one that is lucky to fight the flu and still be alive. But, that's the flu. Now, COVID's like another higher level than the flu. Because, I mean, I don't know if the numbers are the same, whether flu killed off more people than COVID.
It's so debated that it's confusing. Because you have some doctors saying this and you have some doctors saying that. There is conflicting information, too. And there is misinformation as well. Some, it's like malice, and others are just being sensational, mm-hmm. and some are just making stuff up,
right?
Like, putting chemicals in waters and making frogs do all sorts of crazy, like it's difficult for you to just say, oh, I'm an intelligent person, I can make my decision, mm-hmm. when you have all sorts of weird and messed up mm-hmm. counterpoints. Mm-hmm. So the best that I can say is I made my decision, mm-hmm. I stick by it. Mm-hmm. If anything happens, I feel no way to get on board with a class action lawsuit against the company.
Right? It comes down to, like I was saying from the beginning, it's like it is really your choice. I think it's the only way you can feel good about going forth with the decision of taking the vaccine is making sure it is your choice. You do the research, you talk to your loved ones, you talk to your doctor, you talk to anyone you truly, listen to and respect their opinion on the circumstance, and then come to your own conclusion of like, you know what, I need this for my body, or I think I can wait a couple more years before I put this in my body. If that is how you feel, that's how you feel. They show that a lot of people die from, they have this whole thing about vaccines, preventable diseases, and how a lot of people die from those things without taking vaccine.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, even if you're don't just think COVID. There's just all these other diseases out there that this can help you fight as well. At least you can say, well, you don't know, you're not sure about COVID, but this can help you fight the flu, or, whatever else is out there, hepatitis.
Well, no, that one I remember from high school. Right?
I know, but I'm just saying, when you look at it, the vaccines that are out there right now to just help you fight these things, this is just another one to help you fight COVID. And if it is something you need help fighting, but you feel your body just won't be able to really take it down on its own, no harm in getting the vaccine. And what made me comfortable taking the vaccine was that realizing that they're not putting COVID inside me. So that was another red flag for me where I didn't want to take the vaccine. I felt like this was the flu. Like, how the flu shots, they put a bit of the flu in your body to help you fight the flu.
They used to do that.
Well, that's what I know. That's my knowledge. And then I just thought, oh, so they're now going to inject people with COVID to give people a chance to fight COVID, like a little bit of COVID for your body to get used to fighting it. So that's where I was like, no, thank you. I spent a whole year locked in my house to keep away from COVID. I'm not going to a doctor to put COVID in me and see if I'll survive. Like, that's where I felt like, oh, they're just really trying to, kill humanity. But luckily, no. When I realized it's just some extra medicine to kind of help, it's like, I don't want to say it's like steroids, but even though my mom was like acting so energetic when she got hers, I really thought she went and got steroids instead. Because I was like, Mom, what are you doing? You're like up and down flying. When I got mine, I was so exhausted. I was like, I need to take a nap. She was driving
too, man. I was scared.
No, when we got home, I was like, I need to take a nap.
We never clarified that. Here's the thing. Me and my sis went together, and we went to got our shot not too long ago from when we were doing the recording. And I was relatively okay, barring one punch in the arm where I got the shot. And Britt was kind of sleepy.
Yeah, like you were sleepy too, though. You had moments where you like took a nap and everything, and I took a nap as well. My arm felt, sore, but other than that, like feeling like I caught a cold or things like that, like none of that happened. And within like 2 days, I was back to myself, normal self, and that like nothing new. I wasn't too exhausted anymore, and I felt like I had a chance to fight this virus. When I got it, I was like, I feel like I have something to help me.
You feel better about going out and doing things too.
Yeah.
And as for me, I'm the type of person that loves to go out and to like restaurants and stuff like that. So COVID has been awful for me. I can't go to Korean barbecue, no sushi, no ribs. Oh man, I miss my ribs.
I know, but like also too, we're not really sure we're guaranteed those things like open restaurants again. Remember, that's a lot of like plates and cups and forks that we're using from the restaurant, and yes, they use their washer and stuff to clean it, but still, it's like, I think it's going to be a while until we go back to that, unless they're going to be places that's like, take your own plate, take your own fork.
Well, here's the thing.
Who knows? Maybe it has to come down to that.
No, I've worked at a place to doing dishes though, and I can tell you, those plates are clean. You would think that the plates are like put on the sun, how hot they are coming out of the dishwasher. I have to wear insulated gloves just to take them out.
I feel like even going to, maybe this is me just being a little bit of a germaphobe, but I feel like I would bring like my own gloves, and it just literally going to a place with gloves and a mask and stuff. It just makes me feel like might as well I just stay home, because then that's where I can really truly feel like I can breathe, do whatever I want, because I know my space, as against like going to somewhere else. You don't know if they wipe it down properly. You don't know if they sanitized it as yet. Sometimes people tend to forget, it's not even something where they're doing on purpose. They just go, oh my God, I didn't wipe down that table.
During rush hours, all bets are off.
Exactly. They're going to be like, we didn't have a chance to wipe down a table, wipe the menus, or...
Honestly, I don't, like when we're going to the supermarket, I kind of get upset when I don't see the lady wipe the tray. The trolley thing that...
Yeah.
The conveyor belt.
Yeah.
I don't like it when they don't wipe it down.
Yeah. It's one of those things, and I just, all of that kind of comes down to the fact that like we just don't know how things are going to look in the future. But I think if there is a chance for you to help prevent something like COVID from spreading or even harming you, and a vaccine is one of those things at the moment to do, I think nothing hurts to just go for that. But us also, before getting your appointment, setting it up and all, just read up about it.
Do your research.
Anything else? You have anything to say for those who are thinking yes COVID, no COVID?
Yeah, to get the shots, I would strongly recommend doing your own research. Going to, well, for us, like we went to the official Canadian website, we read through all of the vaccines, and we chose what we felt would work best for us. And I would strongly suggest doing the same. Talk to your family doctor, talk to your physicians. You never know. Back when you were young, you could have had an allergic reaction to a vaccine before and not even remember or know that because you were like, what, 8, 7 at the time?
Yeah.
So going to your doctor and looking things up will kind of help you put at ease. But don't do it in the mindset of, oh, I have to do it or I'm going to die kind of a thing. You need to be positive. This is something that is here to help. If you are careful, if you're cautious, even if you're to catch it, it's not you have to be positive and
believe like you'll get through it.
Right.
Yeah, that's really what you can do. And I know this might sound very bizarre, but the other day or so I was watching Planets of the Apes, and it just gave me like a little inkling. Andre's here giggling, but I was like, look, I'm not saying this stuff predicts the future or anything, but I was like, this is feeling a bit too familiar. Like, luckily I don't see any apes here like Caesar in the movie, who's trying to be all like, you know, leader of all the apes or anything, but it just how it started in a lab, and like human race was like was dying off, and you know, it just, I'm honestly, that plus I was watching Love, Death, and the Robots, and after watching that stuff, there's a point to what I'm saying. So with Planets of the Apes, humans like created the virus, and then Love, Death, and Robots, you just see like where, of course, human created robots, and you can just see where like robots have like want to kill off the human race. I actually tweeted one day, I was like, hey, anyone who's like making a robot, can you not like, you know, and because honestly I feel like humans, we are creating problems. It's like Jimmy Neutron, who like keeps like making gadgets, and then it ends up like destroying the whole town. We need to stop.
That's a weird way to say Dexter's Lab.
Or last but not least, the Mitchell's family, like the Mitchells versus the Machines. That movie on Netflix. We have to
work in our movie list somehow.
I literally had to bring it out because like that in itself, like the guy had a kill button but couldn't click it fast enough.
All right, that one is dumb. Can you at least have a kill switch?
He did, but like he had to put in a code and everything. And all I'm saying is, I feel there's a message that social media is like, well, not social media, but movies are projecting like humans are really the cause of our destruction sometimes, because why are we creating all this stuff that's like now we have to find ways to clean it up? It's like Timmy Turner making a wish and then it backfires. But I do get some intentions are good, you know, because even with the guy from Planets of the Apes, he was just trying to find a cure for Alzheimer's, which, I mean, any normal person would like to find to cure that. And till this day, I hope someone does find one. But it caused that whole uproar of like apes taking over and humans, like, if anything, losing the ability to talk and have any sense. So
because it was leaked out of a lab.
Yeah, it was leaked out of a lab, and I just, when I just look back on that, I mean, yes, it's a movie. I know it's not real, but it was just low key unsettling feeling I got watching it now as against before. I was like, oh, cool, made up story. Now it's like this stuff feels a bit too close to home, you know?
No, it's just life imitating fiction, not the other way around.
Yeah, and it's life imitating art, and that's the scary part, because like life is the real part, Andre. Movies are movies.
Right.
So that's where I get a bit uncertain. But hey, try not to believe everything you see on, you know, television in that sense regarding movies, but also it just gives you something to think about. Like, hey guys, let's slow our roll about making a robot army.
And my uncomfortable COVID movies to watch during the COVID pandemic would also be Resident Evil, the first one.
Oh my gosh.
And Contagion.
Oh, I heard that one. Yeah.
I literally was like, oh god, I was sweating bullets.
I don't know if I can watch those anymore. Like, it's
too real.
It's too real, exactly. So, you know, and then there's I Am Legend.
Well, no, that's just robots.
No, I Am Legend isn't robots. That's iRobot.
I was thinking
that one
iRobot.
was like people turning into
werewolf, zombie, vampires.
Yeah, it was just a mess up. See, and this is people creating something that caused that. So I'm just saying people gotta. Well, yeah, somebody in a lab again did something.
All I know is
and there's even Jurassic Park, okay, where people are like,
come on, not Jurassic. You're gonna bring that one.
Yes, because look how the dinosaurs started eating everybody.
Well, they're dinosaurs. They're gonna eat everybody.
But who made the dinosaurs?
Well, look, we don't have a Jurassic Park, so we don't know if the dinosaurs are gonna eat everybody.
The movie showed us a glimpse of the future on a train. Somebody's gonna try to make a dinosaur.
And it's gonna eat everybody.
Exactly. That's just my theory, you guys. Don't take me too seriously. But anywho, thank you so much, my brother, for joining me. And once again, you guys, just know that it is okay to research. It is okay to talk about it with your family and loved ones regarding the vaccine, and just, you know, choose what's best for you at the end of the day, and don't apologize for it, because you are in charge of yourself. So, you know, do what you got to do. Now, for our Brit Positive Podcast shout out goes to Film Rage. Thank you guys so much for your support. It never goes unnoticed. You guys are awesome. Your positivity is so amazing, and I had to give you guys a shout out. You guys are awesome. And I hope and pray for those of you who are listening that you get peace and wisdom as to make the right choice for you when it comes to getting the COVID-19 vaccine. Stay safe, everyone. Social distance, of course, but also just stay safe. I want to know everyone's still doing good out there. And remember to look for the positive and spread the positivity, because together we can get through anything. And if you like what you heard, click that follow button and subscribe button for more. Thank you guys for listening once again. Thank you, Dre, for joining me. And remember, spread positivity. Bye.